Robinson is still only 24 years old, but the surfer has had her shares of highs and lows already during her surfing career. But through it all, she's been inspiring the next generation with her movement Queen in Me. So it's great to be chatting to you, India. Thanks for coming on the chat.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, so we did actually, I did do an interview with you a little over 3 years ago when I was still 11 and you were a rookie on the Surfing World Tour. So a lot has changed for both of us since then.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see how far you've come as well. Like it's amazing. I love what you're doing.
Yeah, well, thanks. Well, I'm super excited to get to chat to you again. So, India, just when we look back at your childhood, I know you grew up with three older brothers. But like, what was that like day to day? I only have a little sister, so I can't imagine what it was like living with three older brothers.
It was hard work. Like they didn't go easy on me and they didn't treat me as a young sister. I was just like another little boy to them, like another younger brother. And that kind of taught me a lot of resilience and strength. And I couldn't just cry to get my way, or if they did something, I had to, figure it out on my own and try to find a way to either get them back or just prove them wrong. And they showed me how hard it was to push through if you're chasing something. And I am grateful that I got to be surrounded by them because they did push me a lot. But it
Yeah,
was difficult. It was
I,
hard.
I imagine it was. Because like you're 24 now, but like, how do you think your upbringing and I guess, having three older brothers, like how has that like helped you? Maybe like just shaped who you are now?
Yeah, I think just even with all of the setbacks and stuff I've gone through, I think just having that background of getting back up once I've been knocked down, or even when I was younger, if they pushed me down, like I had to get back up and have to like keep moving forward. And that really just like instilled a lot of strength and courage inside. So I feel like it's kind of rooted inside me to do that. So when I do have big setbacks, I just know like, okay, it's just another hurdle I've got to jump over and I've got to keep moving forward. So it did kind of give me some really strong values to stand with as well.
Yeah, so it's like taught you resilience, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been able to learn that with that. And you grew up near Torquay and Bells Beach. So, you grew up on the beach. And I think you started surfing around age 3. So, like, what did 3-year-old India look like on a massive oversized surfboard, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I was tiny. I had this like blonde little afro, and
Oh,
my dad would take us all down to the beach, and we actually had this like 12-foot tandem longboard. And so like some of the times we'd get the whole family, all six of us on the surfboard, and
wow.
we'd catch a wave all together. But most of the time it would be, yeah, my dad's kind of like holding onto the back of the board and pushing me in, and I'm just kind of cruising along.
That sounded really fun that you could all get on the board at the same time.
Yeah, it was a cool experience.
I mean, like I love the beach as well. Like it's probably one of my favorite places to spend time. But like I guess I didn't grow up like on the beach. But like for you to have grown up, I imagine going there every day. Like you mentioned, riding on a surfboard with your family. Like, what is the beach and the surf like meant to you? Like in those younger years when you were growing up?
Yeah, it was just our lifestyle. Like we lived so close to the beach that every day, yeah, it was like, okay, if it's the morning or the afternoon, like we know we're going to be at the beach and we might stay there all day, or yeah, we might go for a surf and come home. But we just know that like that's going to be our day. We're going to go to the beach. Like
Yeah.
that's our routine.
So it feels like you're kind of destined to be like a pro surfer. So you won silver at the under 16 world champs. And when I interviewed you last time in 2022 and you won the championship tour right at the beginning and you told me it's something that I've been working towards for my whole life. So like what is that feeling like? You've been working towards something for many years, like back in your childhood, and then you finally like get there. Like what's that feeling like?
Yeah, it was just a dream come true. Like when I was in the water and they announced that I'd officially qualified, I was just like, whoa, like only five girls qualify onto the CT every year. So to be amongst that was just like, okay, wow, we've kind of done one of the biggest things we've ever set out to do. And I didn't know it was going to happen that quickly. Like I thought it, a lot of the time it takes so many years. So when it did happen, I was kind of in shock that I did it, but also just like felt proud that the hard work paid off.
Yeah, well, it's such a young age as well. Like you mentioned, some people you'd probably imagine it happening later, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess, but obviously you were still very young, and I know that part of what comes with being an elite athlete is that sponsors like want to be a part of your brand, so you get sponsorship deals. And I know you had some experiences when you were younger that like left you feeling a bit uncomfortable. And I feel like sometimes as well, like younger athletes, they feel like they have to say yes, and they don't want to be like difficult. They don't want like a bad rep. but you did like take a stand and you didn't just, take every deal that you got. So like why was it so important for you in those early years that you did stand up for what you believed in?
Yeah, I think I definitely struggled for a few years there where I was just trying to fit the image of this certain brand. And I was struggling a lot with what that looked like because it was so against the athlete mentality that I had. So for me, it was just like a crossroads moment where I just had to decide, okay, do I want to be this professional athlete that's the best surfer in the world that I've been chasing my whole life? Or do I want to try and make these people happy to just get a bit more coin? And once I like put it like that, I was just like, no matter the amount of money, I don't care. Like, I don't want to lose who I am and lose that chance to be the best surfer in the world. So I made that decision. I stepped away from them. And ever since, like, honestly, yes, I don't have many sponsors and I've been very, very selective with who I choose to partner with, only because I want to be an inspiration to the next generation as well. I don't want to feed into the toxicity of the social media world and pretending you have to be someone that you're not. Like, I just want to keep preaching that by being who you are will take you to where you want to go. And I learned that the hard way. Like, I qualified off my own back. I worked hard to make enough money to compete. And once you make it and you've done it and you feel proud of how you did it, it's so much more fulfilling than saying yes to a couple $1,000s just because you want some quick money. Like, it was, for me, I'm so selective. And yeah, I think that it will all work out because you'll find someone that's going to want to work with you for who you are. They want to support you, like the person, not what you look like, not any of that. Just like, wow, this is an amazing person. I love this, what she's doing. She's an amazing athlete. That's kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah, and it feels like you haven't just like taken a stand with that. But another thing that you did was starting Queen and Me, which was something that you did at a very young age as well, I imagine, when you were going through some of that stuff. So you started that when you were still a teenager. And for people who don't know about it, I know we've chatted about it a bit before, but can you just explain like a bit about what Queen and Me is about?
Yeah, kind of what I was just explaining, how a lot of young girls don't have the opportunity to learn their values, who they are as a person, and why that's so important. So for me, I established Queen in Me with the aspiration to inspire, empower, and educate the next generation of young girls coming through. And so by doing workshops and camps and interacting with these young girls, I'm able to just provide them with some really basic tools that can like change the course of their life, just because they can then make decisions that they feel empowered by, and they won't feel the need to fall into peer pressure groups and do all of these things that is clashing with who they are, because they know what their values are. They can stand strong in that. So for me, it's just reaching as many young girls as possible, being a positive influence, and just, yeah, trying to change that narrative of like, you don't have to look a certain way. It's not about that. Like, you can achieve whatever you want to do. Like, just be who you are and it'll happen.
Yeah. So like obviously you had some like experiences that led up to you starting that, but was there just like a specific moment where you went, right, like I know I'm still young, but I have to do something about this because, you don't see anyone else really doing it?
It was pretty like when I did decide to leave that brand, and then I kind of realized what I had just gone through, and it was like a light bulb moment. And I'm like, I'm not the only one. Like, there's so many young girls that are doing stuff they don't want to be doing just because they feel like they have to. So then I was like, okay, let's try to figure out a way where I can influence positively. And for me, the easiest way to do that was create my own brand, put the stickers on my own board. I'm not sponsored, but I've got a brand on my board that represents being who you are and staying true to your values. And I think that's way more important to me than having a fancy other logo on there.
Yeah, I think it's great that you've ended up doing that instead. But I guess just on a bit of a like kind of different topic or kind of just a bit of a different note, it does feel like it is an amazing time like now for women in terms of a sponsorship point of view, even though we're still definitely growing. But I know that the top 10 most marketable athletes of 2024, so half of them were women and they, included like Simone Biles, other women, there were like popular basketballers and rugby players, which people might know some of, but there are several basketballers that have like their own shoes and everything, but none of those athletes are like well known for, how they look in a bikini. And I guess that's some of the stuff that you went through early on with having to decline those deals. But like where do you think we are at now in terms of like female athletes actually being recognized because of their athleticism and not how they look in certain clothes?
I think, yeah, it's come such a long way. And I think the Matildas in the World Cup was probably the best thing that could happen for women's sport overall. Um, in the surfing world, we've still got a long way to go purely because of the way that female surfing is interpreted and the way that it was kind of brought in was people assume that women surfers are models that are going to wear really small bikinis. And we're starting to see a bit of a change just with the new athletes that are on tour and like Katie Simmons and stuff, what they're doing and how their surfing is being appreciated because they're doing crazy stuff that no one's looking at what they're wearing. But for the majority, the brands still see that the market is we need a model, we need them in a cute bikini. But we're working hard to change it, and I think with the Olympics and just constantly showing what we can do as female surfers, like yeah, it's changing the game, and hopefully we start seeing some more brands like Nike's just started to step into surfing, and hopefully, yeah, we get some other big brands that come in as well and just continue to support it because, like you said, in basketball and soccer and stuff, it's been huge impact. So I'm really hoping the same happens for surfing.
Yeah. So do you think like within surfing, like the mindset will ever like completely change, or is that just kind of like the culture of surfing? Because obviously it's on the beach and like swimming is a massive part of surfing and everything. Do you think it'll ever like completely like change people's mindset?
I think when it comes to seeing professional surfers, that will change. For the average surfer that's just going down for a surf or that like a girl sitting on the beach or whatever, like there's nothing wrong at all with wearing whatever you want to wear. It's just when we are a professional athlete working our hardest to prove how good we are and you're only seeing me for what I'm wearing, that's where there's an issue. But now that we're surfing waves of consequence, we're surfing the same level as the guys, we're starting to be looked at as, equal. And that's where
Yeah.
we want to be. But I can see it shifting for sure, but completely, I don't know.
Yeah. But I guess do you have like maybe advice for like a young surfer or just a young athlete that's like going through like all of this at the moment?
I think understanding who you are and just doing something because you feel it's right for you. Like if you're unsure about how you look or what you're wearing, or if you don't feel comfortable, then there's a reason you don't feel comfortable. So don't do it. That's what I'd say. Like do what makes you happy and makes you feel good.
Yeah, no, that's definitely great advice. And I guess another huge part of your story is that, after you just reached that goal of making the championship tour, you had those three pretty bad concussions over a couple of years. So I just wanted to ask, like, what was that time like for you having to step away from, like a massive part of your life for such a quite a long bit of time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously qualifying was like the highest point of my life, and then having to take a big step back, look after my brain, give it some time to recover. I came back again, and then it was like it just went deja vu, and it all happened again. And then yeah, spending the last 12 months pretty much working on all aspects of my recovery, not just my concussion and my brain, but also I got diagnosed with endometriosis. So I had a surgery to remove that and a cyst off my left ovary, which was really confronting, but also like made so much sense as to why my brain couldn't fully recover because there was so much other things going on internally for me. So although this last 12 months has definitely been like hard, the hardest moments of my life for sure, I've gained so much more clarity and I now know my body so much better. I know my brain and I know what I need and stuff like that. So I think it's been a blessing in disguise, and it's crazy that that I've gone through this so many times, but I like I think everything happens for a reason. And in the moment, I had no idea why it was happening. But now that I'm on the other side, I know that I went through that for a reason, and I've had to learn some pretty tough lessons along the way. But I think it's all been worth it.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like you've learned a lot of things, and I know it was a pretty hard time for you, but you said, yeah, like it's kind of a blessing in disguise. But is there anything that you've learned, like when you were going through that really tough period, that's kind of like changed your mindset, like maybe heading back into surfing after taking such a long time off?
Yeah, definitely. Like just the gratitude piece, like understanding how lucky I am to do what I do. Like I get to surf every single day, I get to travel the world with my friends competing, and like it's the best job in the world. Like I am so lucky, and I just love surfing. So when that was taken away from me, it was just like, okay, well, don't take this for granted and don't take your health for granted. Like, look after yourself. You need to make sure that you feel good and then you'll be able to perform at your best as well. So I've learned a lot about patience and not pushing past my, like my brink. I don't need to go past that point. I just need to go to where I feel good and then give myself a chance to recover. And I think that's also a really important piece.
Yeah. Was there ever like actually a time where you thought maybe I won't be able to like get back in and surf again? Because I guess concussions can be pretty serious, but were you always hopeful that you'd be able to get out and keep surfing, or were there like any worries?
There was definitely days where I was just like, holy, I've been in this cycle for 3 years. I don't know if I like what's the reason? Is it am I meant to not surf anymore? Like I definitely went to those places and started questioning that. But like deeper than all of that was just my passion and drive to be the best surfer I can be. And I knew I wasn't done. I hadn't reached that point, and I have so many more goals that I want to achieve. So it was pretty much just about doing whatever I had to get back to that point.
Yeah, well, it seems like you love it so much, but I guess just with like concussions in sport in general, I feel like we're seeing a lot of sports like starting to actually treat head injuries and taking them a bit more seriously now, which is good. But I know surfing like is a bit of a different sport. Obviously, like it's kind of harder to minimize risks of concussion. Like there are some things that you can't really minimize the risks of. But do you think the balance of like the sport protecting athletes and like the surfers knowing there are risks, like how do you think that is? How do you navigate that?
It's come such a long way from when I first had a concussion. No one knew anything. Like pretty much thought it wasn't even possible in surfing. And now through a lot of research and testing and stuff like that, so many surfers have come to realize how many concussions they've already had, and now they know how to identify it. They feel so much more comfortable knowing what it is and what the signs are to look for and stuff like that. So I think the more research that's being done, and obviously all the NRL sports and AFL and stuff like that, they're taking really strong precautions when there is a head injury, and surfing's following that suit as well. So if you're diagnosed with a concussion, you have your mandatory 14 days of
Yeah.
rest. And so I think that's really crucial because so many people can just be like, oh, yeah, it was bad, but it's not that bad. I'm just going to keep pushing. And that's the easiest thing to do. As athletes, we can push past anything. But that's when, yeah, with a concussion, pushing past it can mean long term effects. So I think, yeah, we know enough now that people are starting to know the signs and doing what's right for them.
Well, I guess with like all of, all the concussions you've had and all of this stuff that you've been through, like I know it's given you like a bit of a new perspective with like your surfing, but in terms of like Queen and Me as well, like has that changed what you do with that at all?
Yeah, the last year I've actually just redone the whole model of Queen in Me because it was a lot around surfing. But I was just like, this isn't specific to surfing. This is just specific to any girl that doesn't feel like they know who they are. I want to be able to give them these tools that I've had the access to. Like I want to be able to provide that. So I just launched the website and I'm just about to relaunch the Instagram and have new branding and everything. And yeah, I've designed a workshop that I can take to any school, take it all around the world. And yeah, I'm really excited for the opportunity to just connect with more girls and give them some of the tools that have helped me.
Yeah, I'm sure it's exciting for you that you can use your platform, like not just for surfers, obviously young surfers, but just young athletes, just young people everywhere, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I know some like athletes I chat to, I ask them if they can find a good balance between like doing their sport professionally and then also doing it for fun. So can you like find a good balance between that, or is it easier to do that now, maybe after everything?
After everything I've been through, for sure. And I honestly think that's probably one of the reasons I had to go through all of that was to just learn the importance of slowing down and having fun along the way because I am very much a routine based, structured athlete where I want to train and surf and go gym and do all of the things in one day. But now that I've been through what I've been through, it's also like make the time to spend quality time with your friends, go for a surf without someone filming and just like ride a fun board for a bit. Just enjoy surfing. Like whenever I start to get a bit in my head and I'm overthinking, I just go on to like a twin fin, like a fun type of board, go surf that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is why I love it. So just having little things to remind me when I do start to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, it's nice to hear that it's like helped you through all of that as well. But just to finish, I do have this question that I like to ask to my guests, and I feel like especially with everything that you've been through, you'd be a really good person to ask this to. So, why has it been important for you to stay in sport? Like, what has sport given you?
I think health, like understanding the value of our mental health and our physical health. I just am so grateful for what my body can do for me and how I can do whatever I put my mind to as well. And just also the lifestyle of surfing has brought me so to all of my best friends. Like I have the world's best community around me and I'm so grateful for that. And that's because of surfing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for the chat, India.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good to chat with you.